Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters in Christ, today I want to talk about something that lies at the core of every dream, every breakthrough, and every victory. And that is the power of never stopping, never giving up, and never quitting on yourself. Today I want to talk about never stop trying each day. Because life will test you, life will push you, life will try to convince you that you're not good enough, not strong enough, not capable enough. But I came here to remind you that as long as you wake up in the morning, as long as you have breath in your body, as long as you can open your eyes and put your feet on the floor, you still have another chance to fight, another chance to rise, another chance to try. Failure is not final. It's feedback for growth. Too often we have been conditioned to believe that failure is the end of the road, that when we stumble, when we fall, when things don't go according to plan, it is somehow a reflection of our worth or our capability. But the truth is, failure is not a dead end. It is a detour. It is life's way of redirecting us, teaching us, reshaping us, preparing us for what's next. When you fail, you are not defined by the setback. You are defined by how you respond to it. Some people stop at failure and never get back up, but others understand that failure is part of the process, part of the journey to becoming the person they were destined to be. Think about a child learning to walk. Church, they fall countless times, they stumble, they bump into things, they lose balance. But not once does that child think, maybe walking isn't for me, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. No, that child keeps getting up again and again until one day those steps become steady and strong. That's how life works. Failure is simply falling forward. And every time you rise again, you become stronger, wiser, more prepared. Failure doesn't mean you are finished. It means you are still in the fight, still in the game, still moving toward your dream. The greatest inventors, leaders, athletes, and dreamers have all failed. Thomas Edison didn't get the light bulb right on his first attempt. He went through thousands of experiments before success lit his path. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest athletes of all time, missed more than 9,000 shots, lost almost 300 games, and yet he is remembered not for his failures, but for his relentless pursuit, his refusal to allow failure to define him. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television. Walt Disney was told he lacked creativity. Les Brown himself was labeled indubitably mentally retarded. But what do these stories teach us? They teach us that failure is not final, it is fuel. It is feedback pointing you toward the adjustments, the corrections, the resilience you need to build in order to succeed. When you see failure as the end, you stop trying. But when you see it as feedback, you start asking the right questions. What can I learn from this? What can I do differently next time? How can this setback shape me into someone stronger, wiser, and more determined? Failure becomes a teacher, and those who are willing to be students of failure grow into champions. Every setback contains within it the seed of a comeback. But you must be willing to look at failure through the right lens. If you allow it, failure can plant doubt in your mind, fear in your heart, and hesitation in your actions. But if you embrace it, failure can build character, sharpen focus, and ignite passion. The way you interpret failure will determine whether you stay stuck or rise up. That's why you must decide today that no failure will define you. No setback will stop you. No mistake will have the final word in your story. People who succeed are not the ones who never failed. They are the ones who refuse to quit after failing. They turned their wounds into wisdom, their losses into lessons, their pain into power. They understood that success is not built on perfection. It is built on persistence. Every time you fail, you are being handed the gift of growth. Every time something doesn't go your way, life is chiseling you, molding you, refining you into the person capable of handling the victory you are reaching for. The danger is not in failing. The danger is in letting failure convince you that you are done. Too many people stop short of their dreams because they allow one failure, one rejection, one disappointment to convince them they are not worthy. But the truth is, those very moments are the training ground for greatness. Without the struggle, you cannot fully value the triumph. Without the lessons of failure, you cannot develop the strength to carry success. When you shift your perspective and begin to welcome failure as part of the journey, you no longer fear it. You stop running from it and start growing through it. Every failed attempt becomes a stepping stone. Every misstep becomes a lesson. Every rejection becomes redirection. You realize that failure is not your enemy. It is your ally, your silent partner in the pursuit of your destiny. And here is the key each time you fail. You are closer to success than you were before. Each failure is proof that you are in motion, that you are trying, that you are daring to step out of your comfort zone. People who never fail are people who never try. But you are not one of them. You are willing to step up, to risk, to fall, and to rise again. And that willingness is what separates the dreamers from the doers, the talkers from the achievers, the spectators from the champions. Each new day is another opportunity to try again. No matter what happened yesterday, no matter how badly you stumbled, no matter how heavy the burden felt, the moment you open your eyes to see the morning light, life has given you a gift, the gift of another chance. That sunrise is a reminder that your story is not over, that your journey is not finished, that you still have a purpose to fulfill. Too often people allow yesterday's failures to imprison today's possibilities. But the truth is every day comes with new mercy, new strength, and new potential. You don't have to be who you were yesterday. You don't have to carry the weight of your mistakes. You don't have to repeat the same patterns. Each day gives you the opportunity to reset, to realign, to rise again, and start moving toward your dreams with fresh determination. When you understand the power of each new day, you stop living in regret and start living in possibility. You stop saying, I should have, I could have, and instead you start saying, I will, I can, must. Yesterday is gone and tomorrow is not promised, but today is yours. Today you have a chance to take one more step, to make one more attempt, to believe one more time. Even if you feel exhausted, even if you feel discouraged, even if you feel like giving up, the fact that you woke up means you still have a reason to keep moving. Life did not wake you up by accident. It woke you up on purpose, because your work is not yet done. Think about people who have gone through incredible setbacks, yet chose to embrace each new day as another chance. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years behind bars, yet he walked out of prison with vision and hope, believing that each day was still an opportunity to fight for freedom. J.K. Rowling faced rejection after rejection for her writing, but each new day she continued to put pen to paper, trusting that persistence would pay off. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company, but he did not let yesterday's defeat kill his spirit. He used each day as a stepping stone until he came back stronger than ever. Their stories prove that no matter how dark yesterday may have been, today can be the day you rise again. When you wake up, you are given a choice. Dwell in what was or focus on what can be. Too many people choose to live trapped in yesterday's pain, holding on to mistakes, replaying regrets, and allowing the past to rob them of today's potential. But successful people understand that each day is a blank page, and they are the author holding the pen. They decide to write a new story, to create new momentum, to take new action. They know that small steps taken each day add up to massive change. One workout today may not transform your body. 1 hour of study may not make you an expert. One act of kindness may not change the world. But repeated daily, those efforts compound into extraordinary outcomes. Life is not about one giant leap. It is about daily steps. Every sunrise is an invitation to try again, to improve, to progress. You might not see the results immediately, but consistency compounds. The farmer doesn't plant a seed and expect a harvest the next morning. He waters it day after day, knowing that the growth is happening even when it cannot be seen. That's what each day represents: watering your dreams, nurturing your goals, developing your skills, and strengthening your resolve. If you treat each day as an opportunity, you will look back months from now and realize that the daily grind produced extraordinary growth. There will be days when you don't feel like trying, when the temptation to quit whispers louder than the call to keep going. That's when you must remember that discipline is stronger than emotion. You won't always feel motivated, but you can always choose to act. When you treat each new day as a sacred opportunity, you rise above feelings and operate from commitment. And with commitment, consistency and faith, the results will come. It doesn't matter how many times you failed before. It doesn't matter how many doors were slammed in your face. It doesn't matter how many times people doubted you. What matters is that you still have today, and as long as you have today, you can try again. Success is rarely about talent alone. It is about endurance, about the willingness to try one more time when others have given up. The people who achieve greatness are not those who never failed, but those who never stopped trying day after day, opportunity after opportunity. Each day is a reminder that life is not finished with you yet. Each day whispers, you have another chance. Each day calls you to rise, to fight, to believe, to take one more step toward the dream that is in your heart. Persistence breaks down resistance. The world does not simply hand over success. It demands effort, consistency, and determination. Obstacles will rise, challenges will appear, and resistance will meet you every time you take a step forward. But persistence is the force that wears down walls. Persistence is the steady hammer that cracks the stone. Persistence is the unshakable spirit that keeps pushing until doors open. Most people quit too soon, not because they lack talent, not because they lack intelligence, but because they lack persistence. They give up when things get hard, when the road feels long, when progress seems invisible. But those who keep going, those who keep pressing forward despite the resistance, are the ones who break through and see their dreams turn into reality. Resistance shows up in many forms. It shows up as fear, as self-doubt, as negative voices telling you that you are not good enough. It shows up as setbacks, as rejections, as failures that make you question whether the effort is worth it. It shows up as delays, as long waiting seasons where nothing seems to move. But persistence refuses to surrender to resistance. Persistence says, I will try again when the answer is no. Persistence says, I will keep going when progress is slow. Persistence says, I will not stop when the weight of life feels heavy. Think about water flowing over rocks. The rock is strong, solid, unmoving, yet over time, the steady persistence of water wears it down, reshapes it, and carves valleys through it. That is the power of persistence. It does not always bring immediate results, but it guarantees eventual impact. The resistance may be tough, but it is not tougher than the consistent force of persistence. History is filled with people who faced resistance yet broke through because of persistence. Abraham Lincoln lost multiple elections before becoming president. Colonel Sanders was rejected over 1,000 times before someone agreed to sell his recipe. The Wright brothers faced ridicule for believing humans could fly. Yet their persistence turned mockery into marvel. Every great achievement has been born out of the refusal to give up. Without persistence, the resistance of life would have crushed those dreams. But because they stayed the course, history remembers their triumph. Resistance wants you to stop. It wants you to quit before the breakthrough arrives. But persistence understands that resistance is temporary, while determination is eternal. Every no gets weaker the more you push against it. Every closed door becomes looser the more you knock. Every obstacle eventually cracks under the weight of consistent effort. That is why persistence is not optional. It is essential. Without it, talent is wasted, potential is buried, dreams are left unfulfilled. With it, even ordinary people can achieve extraordinary results. Persistence is a decision, not a feeling. You won't always feel like pushing forward. There will be days when you feel drained, when you feel discouraged, when you feel like nothing is changing. But persistence is not about emotion. It is about commitment. It is waking up each day and choosing to keep moving. Even if progress is invisible, it is taking one more step, making one more call, writing one more page, showing up one more time. Success is often hiding just beyond the point where most people quit. Resistance is the test that separates those who merely wish from those who truly want. Many people have dreams, but only those who persist despite resistance ever reach them. Resistance builds strength, it builds resilience, it builds character. Without resistance, persistence would never develop. Just like muscles grow only when they are challenged by weight, your persistence grows only when it is tested by resistance. So every obstacle you face is not a sign that you should quit, but a sign that you are being shaped for greatness. Persistence requires faith. You must believe that your efforts matter even when you don't see results. You must trust that each attempt, each push, each small step is bringing you closer. Faith fuels persistence, and persistence breaks down resistance. Without faith, you will surrender to the weight of obstacles. With faith, you will keep going until you push through them. Imagine a miner digging for gold. He may dig for days, weeks, or months without seeing any sign of treasure. Many give up just before striking the vein. But the one who persists, the one who keeps digging despite the lack of immediate evidence, eventually uncovers the riches. That is how persistence works. It may not reward you instantly, but if you keep going, the breakthrough will come. Persistence is the difference between almost and accomplished, between near and complete, between giving up and going all the way. Every person who has achieved something meaningful can look back at moments when they wanted to quit but chose persistence instead. That decision to keep going, to push past resistance, is what changed the trajectory of their lives. Success belongs to those who refuse to quit. The journey toward any meaningful goal is never straight, smooth, or simple. It is filled with twists and turns, with valleys and mountains, with moments that test your courage and your will. Many start the race, many have the vision, many speak about what they want to do, but only a few cross the finish line. The difference is not always in talent, education, or resources. The difference is in perseverance. The ones who succeed are not necessarily the strongest or the smartest. They are the ones who simply refuse to quit when life gets hard, when the doors close, when the applause stops, when no one is watching. Quitting is always the easier option. It's easy to stop when the road feels long. It's easy to walk away when the results don't show up quickly. It's easy to throw in the towel when people doubt you, when you face rejection, when disappointment keeps knocking. But success belongs to those who stay, those who endure, those who rise after every fall and push forward after every setback. Quitting guarantees failure, but refusing to quit keeps the possibility of success alive. As long as you are still in the fight, you still have a chance. The world has countless stories of people who appeared to have no chance at success. People who were overlooked, underestimated, or counted out, yet they refused to quit. Henry Ford went broke 5 times before building the Ford Motor Company. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before creating the light bulb. Les Brown himself was written off as someone who would never make anything of himself. Yet he kept trying, kept pushing, kept refusing to quit until he became one of the most recognized motivational voices of our time. These individuals did not succeed because the road was easy. They succeeded because they decided that quitting was not an option. When you refuse to quit, you create momentum. You train your mind to keep going despite resistance. You build habits of discipline and resilience. Each day that you continue, each step you take builds a foundation that will eventually hold your dream. It may take months, it may take years, but success is inevitable for those who stay in the process long enough. Too many people give up just before the breakthrough, walking away when they were only one more attempt away from victory. But those who persist, who stay committed, discover that success was waiting just beyond the struggle. Refusing to quit does not mean you won't feel discouraged. It doesn't mean you won't experience doubt. It doesn't mean the road won't be painful. It simply means that even with those feelings, you continue moving forward. You keep showing up when others disappear. You keep knocking on doors when others stop. You keep believing in yourself when others lose faith. Success belongs to those who make persistence a lifestyle, not an occasional act. When you refuse to quit, you begin to outlast the obstacles. Obstacles are temporary, but your persistence is permanent if you choose it to be. Resistance will eventually wear down. Challenges will eventually pass. Storms will eventually end. The question is whether you will still be standing when the dust clears. Those who refuse to quit are the ones who reap the rewards, because they are the ones still standing when the opportunities arrive. Quitting often comes disguised as logic. You tell yourself, maybe it's not meant to be, maybe I'm not cut out for this, maybe I should settle. But deep inside you know that the dream is still alive, that the vision is still calling, that the desire to keep trying has not died. That voice inside you is a reminder that success is still possible if you just keep going. The people who achieve greatness are not those who never felt like quitting, but those who felt it and chose to keep going anyway. Every time you refuse to quit, you strengthen your belief in yourself. You send a message to your own heart that you are resilient, that you are unbreakable, that you are determined to see this through. That confidence builds over time, and eventually it becomes unshakable. You become unstoppable, not because the obstacles disappear, but because you have learned that nothing can stop a spirit that refuses to quit. Success belongs to those who show up again and again, those who commit again and again, those who believe again and again. It belongs to the ones who decide that no matter how many times they are knocked down, they will always rise. It belongs to the ones who understand that setbacks are not signals to stop, but signals to grow. It belongs to the ones who stay in the race until the finish line appears. Small daily efforts create big life changes. Too often people overestimate what they can achieve in a short burst of inspiration and underestimate what they can achieve through consistent daily action. Success is rarely about one massive leap. It is about a series of small, intentional steps taken day after day. Just as a river carves out valleys over time through steady flow, your consistent actions, no matter how small, shape the course of your life. You don't need to change everything overnight. You need to commit to steady progress because small efforts compounded over time produce extraordinary transformation. Think about how habits are formed. A single workout does not make you fit, but daily exercise builds strength and endurance. One healthy meal does not transform your body, but consistent nutrition reshapes your health. Reading a single chapter won't make you wise, but reading daily will expand your knowledge and sharpen your mind. Writing one page does not make you an author, but writing daily will eventually create a book. Success is built in the quiet, often unnoticed moments when you choose discipline over comfort, growth over excuses, consistency over laziness. We live in a world that celebrates the big wins, the overnight successes, the dramatic transformations. But what people often fail to see are the small, invisible efforts that led to those moments. Every champion you admire became great not because of what they did once, but because of what they did daily. Athletes train for years before their names are known. Entrepreneurs work tirelessly, often in obscurity, before their businesses gain recognition. Artists practice, revise, and refine for countless hours before their work is celebrated. It is the daily grind, the unglamorous effort, that builds the foundation for greatness. Small efforts create momentum. When you show up daily, even with small actions, you build confidence. You prove to yourself that you can be consistent. And consistency creates results. The compound effect of daily effort works much like interest in a bank account. It may not look like much at first, but over time it multiplies, it grows, it produces outcomes far greater than you imagined. Every day you make a choice to invest in your growth or to waste the opportunity. Those who choose small daily efforts are the ones who reap big life changes down the road. When you look at your goals, they may feel overwhelming. Writing a book, starting a business, getting in shape, building financial freedom. Those dreams can seem too big to grasp. But when you break them down into daily efforts, they become manageable. One page a day becomes a book in a year. Saving a little each day becomes financial security. 10 minutes of daily exercise becomes a healthier lifestyle. Big dreams are not built in a day, but they are built daily. Small daily efforts also create discipline. Every time you choose to take action, even when you don't feel like it, you are strengthening your ability to follow through. Discipline is like a muscle. It grows when you use it. Each small act of discipline builds character, resilience, and focus. You begin to see yourself differently, not as someone who talks about change, but as someone who acts on it. That identity shift is powerful because once you see yourself as disciplined, consistent, and committed, you naturally live into that identity. The challenge is that small efforts don't always give immediate results, and that is why many people quit. They want instant transformation, but real change takes time. You may not see the difference after a week of effort, but keep going. Like planting a seed, growth is happening beneath the surface, even when it's not yet visible. One day you will look back and realize that those daily choices added up to massive progress. The key is to trust the process, to believe in the power of accumulation, to understand that success is not a single event, but a series of compounded actions. Look at the habits of successful people, and you will notice they all value consistency. They wake up early, they practice gratitude, they study daily, they network regularly, they stay focused on the steps that align with their bigger vision. They do not rely solely on bursts of motivation, because motivation fades. They rely on discipline, on routines, on the simple decision to show up every day. And because they do, their small daily efforts lead them to achieve what others call impossible. Small efforts also inspire others. When people see you consistently working toward your goal, they notice. You may not realize it, but your daily commitment encourages someone else to believe in their own journey. Your consistency becomes a testimony that change is possible, that success is achievable, that persistence pays off. You never know who is watching, who is being impacted, who is being motivated by your quiet, consistent actions. Every day you are given the choice to take a step closer to your dream or to drift further away. Small efforts may feel insignificant, but over time they shape your future. The person you will become a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now will be the result of the small daily choices you make today. Your dream is still possible. Keep moving forward. No matter how many times life has knocked you down, no matter how many mistakes you've made, no matter how many doors have been slammed in your face, your dream is not dead. It may be delayed. It may be challenged. It may be hidden beneath layers of disappointment. But as long as there is breath in your body, as long as there is a heartbeat in your chest, the possibility of your dream is still alive. Too many people bury their dreams too early, convinced by circumstances or by the opinions of others that they are not capable. But the truth is, if the dream is still in your heart, if it still whispers to you in the quiet of the night, it is still possible, and it is waiting for you to move forward with faith and determination. Dreams don't expire simply because the journey is hard. Dreams don't disappear simply because you failed a few times. Failure does not cancel a dream. It shapes you into the person capable of achieving it. The struggles, the setbacks, the rejections are all part of the preparation. Every no is pushing you closer to the right yes. Every detour is strengthening your resilience. Every delay is building your patience. What you must not do is stop moving forward. The dream is still possible, but it requires your action, your persistence, your belief that tomorrow can be better than today. Think of the countless stories of those who chased their dreams against all odds. Les Brown was labeled Dukeable mentally retarded, but he refused to let someone else's opinion define his destiny. He kept moving forward, and today his voice has inspired millions. Walt Disney was fired from a job because he lacked creativity, yet he dreamed of a world of imagination and joy. And because he refused to quit, generations of people experienced magic through his vision. J.K. Rowling was a struggling single mother on welfare, rejected by multiple publishers. Yet she kept moving forward until her dream became one of the most beloved literary worlds ever created. Their stories prove that the dream is still possible if you keep pressing on. Your dream may take longer than you thought, and it may require more effort than you expected, but delay is not denial. Sometimes the dream is bigger than you realize, and you need time to grow into it. Sometimes the path takes twists and turns that you never anticipated, but those twists are building wisdom and strength. Too often people stop right before the breakthrough, right before the moment when persistence would have paid off. They allow discouragement to convince them to give up. But those who hold on, who take one more step, who keep pressing forward, even when the road is dark, discover that their dream was possible all along. The size of your dream is not the problem. The challenge is whether you will continue to move toward it despite the resistance. Big dreams demand big perseverance. They demand faith when the evidence isn't visible. They demand courage when fear whispers in your ear. They demand resilience when failure comes knocking. The question is not whether the dream is possible. The question is whether you are willing to keep moving forward until it becomes reality. Your dream is not just for you. It is connected to the lives of others. When you pursue your dream, you inspire others to pursue theirs. When you achieve your vision, you create opportunities for those around you. When you refuse to quit, you give hope to those watching your journey. That is why it is so important that you don't give up. Your dream carries weight. It carries meaning. It carries impact far beyond yourself. If you quit, you rob the world of the gift only you can give. But if you keep moving forward, you leave a legacy that will outlive you. Dreams require daily effort. They are not achieved by wishing, but by working. They demand that you show up consistently, even when progress seems slow, even when no one notices, even when results are invisible. Every step you take, every effort you make is a seed being planted. And just like a seed in the soil, the growth may not be visible immediately, but in time it will break through. The key is to keep watering your dream with action, to keep nurturing it with faith, to keep moving forward no matter what. You must guard your dream. There will be people who doubt you, who discourage you, who tell you it cannot be done. There will be voices inside your own mind that whisper you are not capable, not ready, not enough. But you must silence those voices with persistence and faith. You must remind yourself daily that the dream is still possible, that the vision is still alive, that your best days are still ahead of you. The road will not be easy, but it will be worth it. Every obstacle is shaping you. Every struggle is preparing you. Every setback is positioning you. The dream is still possible if you refuse to give up. If you keep pressing forward with resilience, if you choose to rise each time you fall. The only way the dream dies is if you stop moving toward it.